Call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Have a motion.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item is the consent agenda. Are there any questions on the minutes or any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Any public comment, Laura?
I did not receive any, and there's nothing back here.
Okay. So under old business, we have the general obligation bond series 2021-A.
Good evening, Jack Ryan Feldman with Baker Tilly, the city's independent financial advisor. So this morning at 10 a.m., we conducted a public competitive sale for the city's Series 2021 A general obligation bonds. It was $3,075,000 20-year bonds. We received 6 bids, with the low bid coming in from Country Club Bank at 1.24% interest. And the bids were competitive based on market indices, and we're very happy with the results. The action before you is there's a bond ordinance and a bond resolution, as well as awarding the bonds to Country Club Bank. As a reminder, these projects were previously authorized to, they were relating to sewer, parks, police, and streets. Last year we issued the temp note 2020A, and this is going to be the permanent financing to take out that temp note. With respect to the city's credit rating, we had a credit conference with Standard & Poor's. The AA- was affirmed with a stable outlook. And so with all that said, as the city's financial advisor, we recommend approval and awarding the bonds to Country Club Bank. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Can you outline the funding mechanism for this bond?
Sure. So we've got a number of revenues identified as a source of repayment. You've got the city's debt service levy, a transfer from the general fund, a transfer from the quality and life sales tax, special highway tax revenue, and then also the capital improvement sales tax transfer. And those are the primary sources for the repayment on these bonds.
Any other questions for Jack? All right. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Any other council discussion on this agenda item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we adopt ordinance 1428, issuance of general obligation bonds, series 2021-A.
Been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second
Been moved and seconded. Corey?
it. Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Now we need a motion for the resolution separately, correct?
I move we approve resolution number 2021-07, authorizing and directing the sale and delivery of GO Bond Series 2021-A.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is new business, safe routes to schools. Glenn, do you want to kind of give a brief synopsis of this?
Yeah, I can. Ed Corton could not be here tonight. So the Safe Routes to School program, I think you're probably familiar with the Douglas County program. And they actually put together, we're part of the MPO, as we call it, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And periodically they develop a safe route. And I hope you had an opportunity to view their plan. We have a link there that's on the agenda so you can look at that. And so it's a countywide, but we also adopt a Safe Routes to School plan here internally, and we've been working with them. They do most of the work for us on that. the reason why we do it, because it puts us in a great place when we go to apply for transportation enhancement grants and other such things that would help our sidewalk program. So we've been very successful, as you probably noticed, the past few years in getting those grants. And one of the reasons is because we participate in countywide planning, region-wide planning, and citywide planning for our safe routes. So that helps us a lot when we get to that point where we can write out an application. Yes, we're planning this, and we stick to the plan. Most of what we've built in the past few years has stuck to the Safe Routes to School plan. And the name says what it is. These grants were originally given to get children from point A to point B going to school safely. That's the whole philosophy behind it. So the more we can get kids out walking and things like that, and it's a real important program for us because, as you probably remember, we lost our internal bus system a couple of years ago. So we went heavy into sidewalks and trails, mainly to get children out riding their bikes and walking, because mainly they had to anyway, but the safer we can get them to school, the better. And so this is an ongoing process, and this is all part of that. So this is basically just adopting another plan that helps us, again, in the future for planning and pursuing those grants. So I wish Ed could be here tonight to talk about this, but he was ill here tonight, couldn't attend. And so he knows this program's inside and out, and he's been working on the ground with this for years now. And so he's kind of our in-house expert on all this. And so, but anyway, I'll answer any questions you have about this. I don't need to be this
How
one.
far along are we as far as percentage wise? I know we've talked about it, but for the public listening,
Percentage-wise, as far as completing,
completing the plan from Safe Routes.
probably close to 90%, I think, of the ones we've identified. Probably, I think 87% is what we're claiming that we're pretty close to that. So, and that's a lot of progress and that's making a lot of progress in the past few years since we committed to Safe Routes to School. So, I don't know if there's a lot of small cities that can claim that they've developed a plan like we have, funded it, and actually built it as quickly as we have. I mean, that's really a commitment, and it's really a testament to Baldwin City.
Any other questions from Glenn?
So I was looking at the US 56 crossing. Is that the one from Heritage across 56 to like Santa Fe Drive?
Santa Fe, yeah, we've been working with Kate on that for,
Okay.
seems
years.
like
Well,
forever.
The reason I asked
Yeah.
is because it says it should be done by 2025. Is that
That's
how
what-
long we're gonna have to wait?
I don't think so.
No, so the plan from KDOT was, when we spoke to them, they wanted that sidewalk completed. Since we got that done this fall, they wanted to wait till spring
Okay.
to do the study. And then as soon as that study's done, then hopefully we can get the approval for that.
Yeah, their traffic study was going to be done last year, and then the pandemic hit.
Right.
And then, the schools were locked down. They didn't want to do a traffic study when people weren't going to school and doing their normal routine, because it's just going to skew the study. And it probably really hurt us at that point, because you won't see as much traffic, of course, going to school. So they've held off for almost a year now. So yeah, last time we talked with them, and Senator Tom Holland has talked with them also about this. He's been briefed by them, and he's been very involved with this as well. So yeah, I hope it's not 2025.
I hope not.
We're really hoping within the next year or so we can get that. It's just a matter of how they're going to do that as far as the crossing goes. Are we going to need a light? Are we going to have to reduce the speed limit? Or are we going to? But the traffic study should tell us a lot about that, and they're very good about doing traffic studies, believe me. So that's what they do all the time. So great question. We wanted to connect that subdivision with the rest of the town for years, and this is one way to get that done. So it's all about connections.
I've been having ongoing conversations with a couple of different senators and reps throughout this. So we're hoping to get some traction during this, but again, the pandemic kind of.
That's a definite possibility.
Any other questions? Comments? No, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the Baldwin City Safe Routes to School plan.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is our 2 truck bids for electric production and distribution.
I can start out a little bit about one of the trucks, it's for the power plant, it's the F-250, to give a little history. We had 3 vehicles at the power plant, and when Rob left to go to Public Works, he took the Explorer with him, so we were down to 2, which worked okay while we had normally just 2 employees, but now when we're getting ready to fill the 3rd position, and also we have the F-150 at 21 years old. So if it would happen to go down, that leaves us with just a Ranger. So we have no way of hauling 3 people in either of the 2 trucks we have. So it's been about 3 years we've been wanting to add to the fleet. So this year we went out to bid the F-250. Sent out 9 requests for bids and only got 2 back. The 2 dealers were Laird Noller Ford in Lawrence and Midway Ford in Kansas City. They've included that in the packet, what the 2 quotes were. So.
What were the amounts of the 2 quotes?
Truck number 1 was $35,555, and truck number 2 was $33,426.
So the $33,000 truck is mine. We have a 2008 Ford 350 that is well over 100,000. It's rolling up on 200,000 miles on it. It's got some severe issues. The turbos are starting to fail on it, and so we put in the budget for a new truck. I budgeted the same exact truck last year. It was $25,000, but due to the COVID and other shortages in metal and such, I guess prices have went up dramatically. So I was kind of hoping to get it down further, but it is what it is. We only have 2 bids. The other bids were quite a bit more than these.
Were these bids, or were these vehicles in your guys' departmental budgets that
Yes.
were approved in August? And are these bids below that line item?
No.
How much over on your line item?
Well, see, I budgeted for the truck and a truck delete or bed delete truck so we could put a utility bed on it. And we budgeted roughly $32,000 for it. And the bed is going to cost about $4,000. So I'm way over budget on it, roughly about $4,000, $4,000 or $5,000.
I put $35,000 in ours, and the bid for the truck for the power plant is $35,555. So it's about $555 over.
So you get a gold star tonight? Glenn, where would these overages for their line item come from?
Just out of their normal.
So we'll be
budget. I mean,
reducing
it's
other
not-
line items to
Yeah, that's
cover the
not a
shortfall?
problem. If they're not going over their fund, it's just a line item that's, or not even in their department, so.
Okay. Council, you guys have any questions for him?
You asked the question, go ahead.
Yeah, same.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Council discussions, further questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we accept the bid for a F-250 pickup in the amount of $35,555 from Laird Noller Ford, and an F-350 pickup in the amount of $33,426 also from Laird Noller Ford.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. All right, council committee reports, budget and finance.
We did not meet since the last council meeting. Next committee meeting is this Friday, 7:45 a.m. at City Hall.
Community development, Corey.
We had a meeting on the 25th, January. Just had 3 things we mainly discussed. One was the new logo. They're working it out, as well as some of the new branding rules around using the logo and all that. I think they're going to have something mocked up for us here at the next meeting, and then we'll be presenting it to council to show that. Discussed Main Street. 25th was this meeting, so Main Street was the 29th deadline. We got her in, and we got some more letters of support from businesses downtown, and we're looking good. So we'll find out mid-February. Is that right? Is that what
Yeah,
you
I
said?
believe that's a good date.
And the only other thing we just gave a Bauer update at the CDC meeting. So. And as far as that goes, we will be meeting on the 9th at 7 o'clock in the Legion to discuss that with the rec board.
Public safety, Susan.
No updates. We haven't met since our last meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 9th at 4 o'clock.
Public works and utilities, Julie.
Well, we discussed quite a bit as usual. Rod said that the snow removal on the storm that we had at the first of the year went well. No major complaints. There was some, the milling that they did on the roads, some of the stuff ended up in people's yards, so they're kind of working on that, cleaning that up some. And they have a new snow plow and sander that was installed on the Kubota UTV, so it's back from American Equipment, so they're pretty excited about that, that'll help clean downtown and the sidewalks. So, new furnace has been installed in the cemetery building, and then they're gonna add an air conditioner later this spring. The mixer for the water tower is installed and it's working, but they're gonna kind of wait and see what it's like when the weather turns hot, because that's when the problem is. The east interceptor is pretty much done actually. And there's some other things. And the new electric panels finally came in for the pool. Those run about $8,500, and they're gonna wait until probably March to install those until it gets warmer. We also discussed installing electric charging stations for electric cars downtown, and we're probably gonna have an update on that at our next meeting. And I moved the monthly meetings to the second Thursday at 9 o'clock. So our next meeting is February 11th at 9 o'clock.
Legislative, Brian.
No update. Our next meeting is on the 17th at 8 o'clock, City Hall, second floor.
Glenn, Laura, staff, any comments?
Nothing further from me.
Council, any further comments? The only thing Glenn and I are meeting with the Eudora City Mayor and the Lecompton Mayor tomorrow at 10. We're going to discuss, along with the county manager, discuss the representation from county commission for our area with this, see if it makes sense to increase the commission from 3 to 5 or 7 or something. So just kind of starting off that talk, because this is supposed to be a redistricting year for everybody. So I talked to Jimmy Shue a while ago, and he said if we're going to have that discussion, this would be a good year to have it. So we're all meeting and going to start kind of discussing that. Other than that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Why don't you go second?
We need a Jeopardy buzzer.
We'll call Corey in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. We're adjourned.